Hannity Colmes. By the way, our good friend Kirsten Powers is sitting in for Alan Colmes, so we get right to our... Oh, by the way, welcome, Kirsten. Good to see you. And we get right to our top story tonight. There is continuing fallout today over comments made by Barack Obama's pastor, the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, formerly of the Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago. Senator Obama has now distanced himself from the Reverend's more controversial statements and said that he did not personally witness the most outlandish of them, many of which have been played on broadcasts since last week. Now, yesterday, normal services were held at Trinity. Our cameras were there to get reaction from members of the congregation on the ongoing controversy.
We have watched as our senior pastor of 36 years of service has been reduced to a soundbite.
We nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon, and we never batted an eye.
No one talks about our HIV/AIDS ministry, one of the finest in the country. Just a soundbite.
The government lied about inventing the HIV virus as a means of genocide against people of color. Governments lied.
No one talks about our senior pastor, who is a former Marine with 4 earned degrees. We only get a soundbite.
No, no, no. Not God bless America. God damn America.
I think nothing was wrong with the comments myself. I think the truth was told.
African Americans really don't love themselves. So he tries to instill pride in us as African Americans about loving yourself through the Bible.
What's wrong with us being who we are? We are black people.
Listen to the message. Forget about the message. The man's got 4 degrees, speaks 6 different languages. So he's a well-schooled individual. He knows what he's talking about.
He's given us a great spiritual lifting, and that's what it's all about.
We would ask that you would not engage in interviews. We also ask that you would, again, thank all of the media that has been with us today. We certainly appreciate them. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm serious. I'm serious.
No comment.
I'm wondering if anyone would like to speak on
No comment. No comment.
The Reverend said for members not to speak to the media. Are you comfortable with that?
No comment.
You have no comment.
No comment.
No comment, God bless you. No comment, God bless you. No comment, God bless you.
And you won't feel the same
No
way?
comment.
All right, joining us now with the political fallout from this explosive story, Fox News contributor, the architect, Karl Rove. All right, Karl, well, let me start with your general thoughts. What do you think?
This is really damaging. It goes to the heart of Barack Obama's candidacy. He has made a argument that we're not red state, blue state, but a United States, and that if elected president, he would make a top priority bringing people together in a spirit of unity to achieve great things. And it really raises questions about his commitment to that unity if he spent 20 years, calls him his uncle, views him as his spiritual mentor, with a man who's been saying these incredible things. And it's a big problem for him. It also is a question of credibility for us now to suggest that he has only recently become aware of these controversial statements really strains credibility.
Well, I want to stay on that point. Is there anything he could say in this speech tomorrow, if you were advising him, that could get him out of this?
Well, look, the only thing is to say, look, I heard these things. I should have reacted differently. I'm sorry I didn't. I'm not certain. I'm really looking forward to a speech tomorrow because they're very smartly moving quickly to deal with this. Let's see how they deal with it. But there are not very many good options on this.
In the book Dream of his From My Fathers, he actually quoted the Audacity of Hope speech, which became his second book, Karl. And in that speech, the phrase, "Where white folks greed runs a world in need." How does he explain that away?
Well, there are lots of things that Reverend Wright has said that are hard to explain. Not only the condemnation of the United States of America, it's U.S. of KKKA, Jesus Christ was a poor black man oppressed by rich white men. I mean, these are kind of things that are just way over the top and hard for anybody to explain or hard for anybody to defend. And frankly, the way that they've responded thus far, saying it's been taken out of context, and besides that, he hadn't heard them. Both of these are weak responses.
All right, let me ask you one simple question, because you are the architect, you're the great advisor. If you could get in his ear before this speech tomorrow, what would you tell him?
level with the American people. I think if he had heard these things before, if over the course of his 20-year association with this man he'd become aware of these things, you cannot explain them away. You cannot explain away going with Farrakhan to see Gaddafi in Libya and explain it away as, oh, I was somehow unaware of that. I mean, this man had a very high profile and a very open record of these kind of statements.
Well, you see, because when we broke this story, I know everyone's taking credit for it now, but won't this put him in the category of being seen by the American people as just your average politician spinning like a top, and that this is done to save and salvage his campaign, and it's being done for political expediency?
Well, that's why I say this issue is so harmful to him, because it goes to his credibility and it goes to one of the key issues that he's laid out in this campaign. Now, let's withhold judgment until he says what he says tomorrow. But thus far, it's been pretty damaging. The smart thing he has done is he's moved quickly to deal with it. He also did something very smart on Friday. While all this bad news was out there, he picked up the phone, called the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Sun-Times and said, those interviews you've been wanting to have with me about Resco, as long as I'm going to have a day with lots of bad news, let's get the rest of it over. So I'm going to give you those interviews, and it's going to become aware that I had a deeper, longer, more significant relationship with Resco than I've been heretofore been willing to acknowledge. And he did it on a day where there was so much bad news it largely got buried.
Hi, Karl. It's Kirsten Powers. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Kirsten.
You said that he needs to level with the American people, but so far he has said that he finds these comments to be horrible. He doesn't identify with them. He says that he wasn't in the pews when they were said. What more do you think he needs to say?
Well, first of all, let's take that last comment that you made. He has said that, but notice he said something very precise. He said the comments that are at the heart of this controversy that he made, that the Reverend Jeremiah Wright made, were not made while I was sitting in the pews. That begs the question of, were you aware of this man's attitudes and this man's views? And it really strains credibility to think that Senator Obama, after a 20-year association with this man, is only aware now that he's making these extreme, bigoted statements and these extremely, these extreme and vicious comments about our country. I mean, it's hard to believe that only now is he becoming aware of them. Well, lots of other people have been for many, many years.
Well, what he said, though, he said he understands that if people see this, that they would find it outrageous, and if that's all he knew about him, that he finds it outrageous. So I do feel like he is saying that he wasn't aware of these specific comments and that have happened in the last 5 years.
No. Hang it on the specific comment. I'm thinking about the broader issue here is Reverend Wright was a leading proponent of black liberation theology. He had extreme views. I mean, this is a man who went to Libya to visit Muammar Gaddafi with Farrakhan. He gave an award to Farrakhan last year. He's had a long association with these kind of left-wing causes and views. Is it only now that Senator Obama is becoming aware of these extreme attitudes and these extreme comments? Now, he very carefully parsed it down to, I didn't hear these specific things. I was not in the pew and heard these specific things. But it begs the bigger question of, is he saying now he was completely unaware of Reverend Wright's views and values and philosophy?
Okay, we're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back. We'll have more with Karl Rove right after.